Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Mercedes. In today's video I have more polishes to share with you all for the Polish and Beauty Expo. If you haven't seen my previous video, I'll make sure to link it here, but it is a extremely long video with lots of offerings from different makers that will be available at the Polish and Beauty Expo and also on their website at some point in time. This one is not as long. I wanted to sort of separate them because it would probably lead into like an hour and a half, maybe even longer. So I'm like, okay, let's just separate. So all the polishes in this video are going to be from Rogue Lacquer. The Polish and Beauty Expo will be taking place this Saturday, the 13th and the 14th over in Chicago. I have all the details about PBE in my previous video, so I'm not going to yap away again. All right, let's get into the swatches. We are starting off with the Doorbuster, and this one is called Pretty Ugly. Now, the Doorbuster is just going to be available while supplies last, so if you love it, make sure to get to the booth. It's going to be priced at $7. It's described as a purpley khaki leaning peach with green to blue shimmer and hollow flakies. I was absolutely obsessed with this when I swatched it. I was just so in awe, and now that I'm actually reading the description, I love pruggly shades, green, swampy, all of that, and this is a pruggly khaki, so I'm living for it and I'm all for it. The formula was fantastic. I built it up in 2 coats, which I was honestly really surprised about. I thought I was going to need a 3rd coat, especially with such a lighter shade, but it worked out great. I think long or short nails, we'll just say 2 to 3 coats depending on your preference. But I love how you can see that beautiful green to blue shimmer just shining from within. I see some of the peach, but I feel like it leans more like pinkish purple, if you can see it towards like my cuticle line. This is a stunning polish. It is beautiful, and I'm definitely going to be wearing it very, very soon. Pictured are 2 coats of the Doorbuster, Pretty Ugly, with a glossy top coat. Moving on to some of the limited edition offerings. This one is Squish, and it'll be priced at $12. It's described as a periwinkle squishy crelly with coral, pink, green color shifting flakies. So definitely a crelly to the core. I built it up in 3 coats, as you will see, but you can see it goes on sheer, but you can already see those glorious shifting flakies. You can see the pink peeking through. You can see some of that green as well. So on that 2nd coat, you can see it really building up with the base color. So you get more of that deeper periwinkle shade, and then on the 3rd coat it gets even deeper and darker, and you get way more of those gorgeous flakies, and they're just way more prominent, way more glowy. I see a lot of the coral and a lot of the pink, the shifting green flakies. I see them, just not as prominent as the coral and the pink color, but I think the colors pair wonderfully with this periwinkle base. You get that lovely squishy bouncy effect on the nails, but you still get that nice coverage and that nice opaque look. I'm going to recommend 3 coats for long or short nails. Pictured are 3 coats of a Squish with a glossy top coat. Here is a Flake Bomb. This is priced at $12. This is a true flaky bomb down to the Rogue Lacquer roots. This is, the description says it's a self-proclaimed flake bomb of green, orange, gold color shifting flakes, pink, purple glass flakes with black metallic flakes. So all the flakes. Now I just did 2 coats. I just figured, and I sort of just, made sure I evenly applied it throughout the nail, so you can see with my application right there. I was happy with 2 coats. I could have done 3, but I feel like with this being a true flaky bomb, that it was okay. Like, I was okay with seeing some of my nail bed, seeing some of those spaces, and it just, I feel like a flake bomb, you just, that's the way that you're supposed to wear it, like, at least in my opinion anyways. But I love how you can see all of the colors. I love how you see pokes of different green just peeking out from the nail bed. You can see that pink, you can see the purple, you can see it all, and I'm so obsessed. I definitely would recommend a glitter smoother and then a glossy top coat just to get a nice plump juicy effect. Pictured are 2 coats of Flake Bomb. This one will be priced at $12. I don't know if I mentioned that, with a glossy top coat. Next up we have the Mermaids in the Lake Trio. So we are starting off with Siren Song. These will all be priced at $12. This one is described as a blue contrast shimmer with underlying tones of purple and hollow flakies. This is such a lovely shade of blue. I remember looking at it in the bottle and then swatching it and just being in awe on how bold and mysterious the shade was. I can definitely see the undertones of the purple, and you're going to see that more on the full hand swatch. You get these sorts of shadows and depth, which I personally love. I felt like the hollow flakies distributed evenly. It wasn't overbearing. It's still a lot, but it's the perfect amount. And then just the shimmer and everything all mixed together. So here's what I mean when I say like the shadows. You can definitely see them along the perimeters of the nail. You can see, you know, the angles of the shifts, that purple undertone, and just the magnificent, glorious shade of blue that this polish is. I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 coats for everybody on this. Pictured are 2 coats of Siren Song with a glossy top coat. Next up, we have Mermaidtails, and this one is described as a metallic flake blend of teal, blue, purple with hollow flakies. And the intention is to make it actually look like Mermaid Scales, which I think is pretty spot on. So we have Mermaid Scales on the nail. So this is like a flaky bomb to me. I built it up in the second coat right here, and I could have gone in for a third, but I was happy with how it looked on the second coat. I didn't really want to reach like full dosage of opacity. I thought just the scarcity looked really, really nice on the nail. I'm loving all the beautiful shades of purple and blue and teal all mixed together. Really does remind me of a mermaid and a mermaid scales, like it does. I'm going to recommend to use a glitter smoother and then your glossy top coat over it, just because it is jam-packed with all of those beautiful metallic flakies and the hollow flakies. So you want to finish it off and make it nice and plump and juicy. Pictured are 2 coats of Mermaid Scales with a glossy top coat. Then we have Shelltastic, and this one is described as a white-based crelly with green to purple UCC flakes, purple glass flakes, and hollow micro flakies. This one I was in love with because I really loved the base. I loved how you have this sort of milky white base and then those like glittering, shimmering, like mirroring metallic flakies. Not metallic flakies, but UCC flakies in there. I built it up in 2 coats. I think long or short nails, 2 to 3 coats will work best for you. I think if you were to add an additional coat to make it 3 total, you're going to really build up that white base and really add in more flakies. Like you can add in more because this is jam-packed. But look how beautiful this is. It almost reminds me of a fairy tale garden as well, because of all of the different colors of flakies in here. Again, I would recommend glitter smoother and then a glossy top coat. It's not going to dry down textured. The previous ones won't dry down textured. It's just, for me, when I have a lot of flakies in a polish, even with a glossy top coat, it tends to not give me that like plump look. But when I use a glitter smoother, it does. So, pictured are 2 coats of Mermaid Scales. No. Pictured are 2 coats of Shelltastic with a glossy top coat. The next set of polishes is going to be a limited edition trio. This is the Mariah limited editions. And I immediately knew when I was pulling the polishes out of the PR package who this was dedicated to. So it's Mariah from Great Lakes Lacquer. Rachel, who's the owner and maker of Rogue Lacquer, her and Mariah are really, really great friends. So this is a dedication to Mariah. They're in their friendship, them going to these expos and events together. Unfortunately, Mariah won't be at the Polish and Beauty Expo this year. I did get the chance to meet her the past 2 years, I believe, and she is such a genuine, lovely, beautiful soul. Oh my God, she's so personable, and you know, this collection, this trio is definitely holding very close to my heart. Now let's talk about this polish. This is called I Miss Your Face, priced at $14. This was inspired by her hair. Like, you have to see Mariah's hair. I think she has a picture posted on somewhere, I think on Instagram or maybe in the Facebook group. You have to check it out. But this is a berry-based multi-chrome with purple, blue, magenta shift. This one was stunning, absolutely perfection to work with. You can see the formula was great. I built it up in 2 coats. I think long or short nails, 2 coats is going to work best for you. This polish captures the shifts, and like it captures her hair perfectly with all of these shifts. It really does. You have to look at the comparison. But you can see like during application that it looks like it was a little streaky, but honestly all of that just settles down. It does a great job with leveling. You add your glossy top coat on, and as you can see, the streakiness is completely gone. This is a beautiful deep berry polish, and the shifts are very prominent. You can definitely see them in person. Pictured are 2 coats of I Miss Your Face with a glossy top coat. Next up we have Little Ripples. This is priced at $12. This is a dusty teal crelly with a pink color of shifting flakes and black metallic flakes. So it's like the Imagineer finish, the Imagineer series that you see from Rogue, which I love those finishes. You see on that first coat, it applies wonderfully. It is acrylic, so you're going to have to build it up, right? But on the second coat, the base just automatically deepens to this beautiful dusty teal shade. The flakies are jam-packed in there. I can see the beautiful pink. I can see purple shifting in there. I love black flakies. I just think they give a wonderful edge to any polish, honestly. I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 coats for everybody, depending on your preference and how prominent your nail line is. I'm loving this polish for the fall time specifically. I feel like that deep teal dusty base is going to look wonderful from like a summer to fall transition. And then you have those bright colorful flakies in there that will make it an easier transition from like warmer hot weather to cooler weather. But I absolutely love the Imagineer finish series, just the finish of the polishes. They just... I don't know. I love busy polishes and I love lots of components, so that's probably why. But pictured are 2 coats of Little Ripples with a glossy top coat. And the last polish in the Mariah limited edition trio is Shenanigans, and this one is described as a rich purple base with strong fuchsia purple and subtle shifts of green and orange shimmer with hollow metallic flakes. So that's a lot. But look at that first swipe. How wonderful is that? This polish just gleams and glitters right off of the nail. It's not quite a 1-coater. I still have some patchiness, a little bit of bald spots, but 2 coats and it was perfection. Full opacity. I'm going to recommend 2 coats for everybody. This was just glorious. I want to put this on my summer rack. Oh gosh, I'm still deciding what to wear to PBE. It's between this polish and another one, and I just don't know. And I already have a polish reserved for my toes, so I can't put it on my toes. But regardless, this is a polish I want to put on my summer rack. It is so bright and in charge. I love the shades that you're getting along the nails. You can definitely see that orange shimmer peeking through. The subtle hints of green shimmer I don't see too much. Maybe at certain extreme angles, or maybe in certain lighting, maybe when you're out in the sunlight. Regardless, I'm in love with this rich purple base, and there's just the hollow metallic flakies in here. It is glorious. Pictured are 2 coats of Shenanigans with a glossy top coat. Now we're going to have another Imagineer set. This is the Land of Fantasies Imagineer set. So there's a few polishes that I'll be showing you. These are inspired by some classic Fantasyland staples like Snow White's Ride, Sleeping Beauty's Castle, Mary Poppins' Horse on King Arthur's Carousel. First up is Make It Pink. These are all going to be $12 each, by the way. This is a fuchsia crelly with blue glass and black metallic flakies. Lovely formula to work with. I built it up in 2 coats. I think 2 to 3 coats, depending on how thick or thin you polish your nails, will work for everybody. I love how bright this polish is. The base is just so fantastic. The mixture of all of these glass flakies in there make this polish just like glow from within. All of the black flakies in here just sort of change up the color a little bit, which it doesn't change up the base color. It just makes it look... I don't really know how to put my finger on it. It just makes it look a little different, a little edgy, more on the fun side. This is a beautiful polish to wear in the summertime. Beautiful polish for like Valentine's Day, especially if you like seasonal polishes. But I'm loving it. Pictured are 2 coats of Make It Pink with a glossy top coat. Here we have Jingles, Mary Poppins, and this one is described as a white crelly with pink, red glass, and black metallic flakies. So again, that beautiful finish with the black flakies and all of your wonderful glass flakies. On that first coat, it is a little on the sheer side, but surprisingly, honestly, for a white color, for a white base, a white crelly at that first coat was pretty well. You can see here on the second coat that white base just sort of brightens up a little more. I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 coats for everybody. I was fine with just 2 coats. I thought the opacity was perfect. The white isn't too stark, which I personally like. I like a more muted sort of base. I like smashed my nail into something. But I like more of a muted sort of base with like a dash of gray, which I feel like this one has, even though it's just described as a white corelli. Those pink and red glass flakies just kind of glow from within, and they give you almost sort of like ember vibes, which I love. And they definitely, like, you can definitely see them more just because we're working with a more a lighter base. Pictured are 2 coats of Jingles Mary Poppins with a glossy top coat. Here is Enchanted Wish, and this one is described as a pale sunshine yellow corelli with red, gold, and blue glass flakes and black metallic flakies. For yellow polish, the formula was fantastic. You can see here it's definitely on the corelli bouncier side. On that second coat, we really build up that color. You really get a nice shade of yellow. It isn't too warm, it isn't too cool. It doesn't look like a funky yellow on the nails because of all of the flakies mixed in here. The blue and the red and the gold, it really plays off well with that base color, making it lean a little on the cooler end, which I personally prefer with my yellow polishes because I'm more of a warmer undertone. I feel like warmer undertone yellows or like corals or peaches just don't look that well on me. They just warm on warm I don't really like, but this definitely, for me anyways, I feel like leans more cooler, and those flakies definitely help it out. Pictured are 2 coats of Enchanted Wish with a glossy top coat. Next up we have Make It Blue, and this one is described as a rich sky blue with pink glass flakes and black metallic flakies. So I love blue polish, and I really loved this one. I did enjoy this one. So you can see on the first coat, it goes on a little bouncy, a little clear, a little transparent. On that second coat, it's just like magic. All these polishes really on that second coat, it's literal magic. That color, that base color deepens up. We get a glorious amount of flakies in here. It almost makes it look a little bit darker with all of the components, but still not super dark, right? Like we get this nice shadowy looking rich sky blue, but we have these glorious bright pops of color with these flakies on the nails. I really enjoyed this one. I was digging this shade of blue. Pictured are 2 coats of Make It Blue with a glossy top coat. All right, guys, now we are moving on to the Bridgerton collection. This is a volume 1, so you know what that means. We're probably going to get more, but these are all priced at $13. Tell me if you watched the show Bridgerton. I have. I watched all of the Netflix series, all of them, and I love it. I never read the books, so let me know if you read the books, or if you read or if you saw the series, or both. But this one is Dearest Gentle Reader. I can hear like the accent in my head right now. It's described as a cornflower blue with silvery purple pink shimmer. Wow. Just like wow. So all of these polishes are going to have this sort of chromy, muted, neon, shimmery look. So just a heads up. But look at this. The formula was fantastic. 2 coats, I achieved full opacity, and you get this beautiful mirror-like shade with that wonderful like silvery purple pink shimmer. This was very different, and I kind of caught myself by surprise with liking these polishes, liking this volume, this collection, because I'm not big on chromy sort of polishes, but it's just all the shimmer. You know me, I love my sparkle, so you throw that in, and it's just such a, this collection's great. Let's just keep going so you can see more. Pictured are 2 coats of Dearest Gentle Reader with a glossy top coat. This one is the Bane of My Existence and the Object of My Desires. I loved the second season of Bridgerton. Let me know which one was your favorite. But this one is described as a pale pink lilac base with intense pink to gold shimmer. On that first coat, it applies nice and evenly, barely any streaks. With chrome-like polishes, sometimes polishes tend to be on the streakier side. I didn't find that an issue with these polishes, and especially not with this one. On that second coat, we build up to pretty much full opacity. I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 coats for everybody though. just depending on your nail line, your preference, and your polishing style and all of that. But we can see that intense pink to gold shimmer. We see a lot of gold at angles. That pink is mostly settling like when you see straight down, straight ahead, but a lot of gold we see at shifts, which is just so pretty. I'm not a big fan of a lot of gold shimmer. It just needs to be placed strategically and with the right components for me, right? And then I will adore gold shimmer. I loved it in this one. I just love that you have other sorts of components to work with. Pictured are 2 coats of the Bane of My Existence and the Object of My Desires with a glossy top coat. Next up, we have You Must Make Haste, and this is described as a bright turquoise base with aqua blue green shimmer. So if you love blue polishes, if you love green polishes, I think you're really going to enjoy this one. On that first coat, we just see the heaping amount of that beautiful aqua blue green shimmer. It is just dazzling and sparkly, and we can already see the shifts as well. So you see sort of a more darker green along the edges. Like, it's just magical. Usually you can't really see shifts until you really start moving the nail around or your hand around, but I can already see the shifts in this polish. I built it up in 2 coats and I thought that was perfect. I really do think 2 coats will be fine for everybody. I love the depth of this polish. I'm in love with the shifts. They're not like super prominent, but they're enough to give you, a dimension on the nails. It is just beautiful. It reminds me of like an ethereal ocean, an ethereal sea. It is so pretty and so twinkly and sparkly. Pictured are 2 coats of You Must Make Haste with a glossy top coat. Next up is a feeling that is like torture. This is described as a peachy coral base with pink and coral shimmer. So this one definitely leans on the warmer side. We can see on the first application, on that first coat, we get a heaping amount of that beautiful coral shimmer. On that second coat, I reach full opacity. Again, 2 to 3 coats, I feel like for everybody, just depending on what you like and all of that. But it definitely is a bright polish. I think this is going to look great on a lot of lighter skin tones and darker skin tones as well. It's really going to pop against those colors. For me, because I'm more of like a mid-tone skin color and I lean a little bit warmer, it sort of blends in with my skin. But regardless, I think this was just a beautiful polish with lots of glorious shifts. So we can see that wonderful orange shift along the nails, and then the coral shimmer, just it blends in with that beautiful base, but it does a great job of still standing out. Pictured are 2 coats of A Feeling That Is Torture with a glossy top coat. Next up is I Burn For You, and this is described as an aqua cyan base with strong pink gold shimmer. I feel like this is like the coat that started it all for the Netflix series. On that first coat, it applied wonderfully. You can see all of the beautiful pink shift already. That second coat, I reached full opacity. So again, 2 to 3 coats for everybody, depending on preference and all of that. But we can see the pink. I see some purple in there. I definitely see some green and orange. I see it all and I love it. I love shifty polishes. I love when you can see what's described in the description, plus a little bit more. This is a beautiful polish for the springtime, a lovely polish for the summer if you want to steer clear of some neons, or if you need some sort of like, I say palette cleanser. Like this would be a palette cleanser for me, just because I'm not big on nude shades. I just like more subtle shades in a not so subtle way. Either way, this polish is beautiful. Pictured are 2 coats of I Burn For You with a glossy top coat. And the last polish in this series is called My Garden Is in Bloom, and this is described as a green apple base with orange copper to gold shimmer. This one I ended up building up in 2 coats, but looking back, maybe I could have done a third. But looking at my full hand swatch, I was sort of happy with the 2 coats. So I don't know, I guess it just depends. So I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 coats for everybody. But you can see here, I reached sort of like full opacity. You can see some of my nail line. Again, I have a pretty prominent nail line on my ring finger, which is my swatch finger. The rest of my nails, the nail line is not prominent at all. So it's just, I don't know why that is. It's just, I guess, a funny quirk of mine. But I love the gold and the pink. I love this sour apple green color. This is a perfect shade for the summertime. It is bright, right? But it is washed out, right? All of these colors in this collection are like a muted sort of neon. So it's still going to be bright and fun, but it's not going to be like your true typical neon. It's a beautiful polish though. Pictured are 2 coats of My Garden is in Bloom with a glossy top coat. And we are moving on to a new set. So these 2 polishes you're going to see next is in the set Halfway to the Holidays duo. This one is Christmas in July. It's priced at $12. It's described as a vintage antique toned crelly with red, lime, and teal metallic flakies. So definitely a summer Christmas polish for sure. The white base is not very stark, not a white stark. It definitely fits the description of a vintage antique base. I feel like it has a dash of brown and a dash of gray in there to make this sort of like antique-y sort of white shade. I love the glitters, the metallic flakies that are in here, the red and the lime and the teal. So typically, you see red and green as like your holiday colors, but I feel like a spin-off to this is that lime shade, and then of course like your teal metallic flakies. So it looks like Christmas, but really it's like a summer Christmas. I'm going to recommend a glitter smoother and a glossy top coat just to get a nice plump juicy effect with this polish. Pictured are 2 coats of Christmas in July with a glossy top coat. The next polish in the Halfway to Holidays duo is Summerween, priced at $12. This one is a greige crelly with rust, orange, purple UCC flakes, orange to gold glass flakes blended in. I love this one. It is like a fun fall summer polish. So I feel like these flakies look like leaves on the nails with that gold and that bronze sort of shade. But then you have your lighter flakies in here. So you have the orange and the purple, which gives it a nice summer spin. I built it up in 2 coats and I was happy with that. I think for this polish, the secret is going to be to work with thin coats. So really 2 to 3 coats depending on preference. But look how glorious this looks. This is a polish I would wear in the summer and a polish that I would wear in the fall. I'm in love with the glowy flakies in here, especially those purple flakies that are just strategically placed throughout the nail. I think it is so pretty. I'm going to recommend a glitter smoother and a glossy top coat just to get a nice plump juicy effect. Pictured are 2 coats of Summerween with a glossy top coat. All right, that is all that I have for you today. Let me know if you are planning on attending Polish and Beauty Expo. I will be there both days on Saturday and Sunday. So make sure if you see me, stop me and say hi. Let me know if you plan on picking up any of these goodies from Rogue Lacquer or any of the other polishes you may have seen swatched. Thank you again, and I'll see you in my next one.